Let me set up my mic real quick. So today I want to talk about, hopefully my mic is on, right? Yeah, my mic should be on. Testing, testing. All right. So today I want to talk about basically self-sabotage and the self-sabotaging behavior that has been happening to me pretty much all throughout my life. And I never held back and I never really, I never really held back from really showcasing my self-sabotaging behaviors throughout my YouTube career. And I think a lot of you have seen me freak out, or a lot of you have seen me get emotionally you know, you know, just emotional and just broken down in tears and get depressed and all this kind of stuff and start saying ridiculous things. I mean, you've seen my behavior. I don't hold anything back, and I think I'm glad that I'm being transparent about my journey. I think transparency is very important, especially in the modern era. I think transparency as a creator is imperative. But anyways, I'm not trying to get distracted here. So I want to talk about um self-sabotaging behavior. So as I stated, I definitely have self-sabotaging behaviors. And I'm definitely and becoming more and more aware of that as I'm getting older. I think some of the things I say to myself, even the words I'm speaking right now, I'm not very kind to myself. Even my former teacher have pointed out to me that, I've been really hard on the body. I think what he meant by that is I'm very hard on myself, hence hard on the body. I think that's what he meant and stuff when he was tuning into me. Um, but yeah, so, you know, yeah, there's a lot of self-sabotaging, programming that has happened to me, I think, since I was a child. I've been told my whole life that I'm not going to be anybody and stuff. And, and I wanted to resist that. But, still, when you're told something like that, it's really hard for you to detach from that way of thinking. So, yeah, it's something that determined to overcome, and it's something that I'm determined to just change. And I'm very determined to change this because energy work was you know, cool to me at first. It was all I wanted at one point. I thought if I can establish myself as a solid energy guy and I can perform incredible abilities, I thought my life will be just amazing and perfect, and you know, I can become the superhero that I've always wanted, since I was a child and things like that. But, you know, as I'm getting older, it's becoming more and more clear to me that that's not my path. Maybe my path, as far as, being an energy creator or an energy spiritual podcast, spiritual influencer, for lack of a better word. I think my path is probably just to be a, you know, podcaster and just to be an interviewer and stuff. And I used to hate myself. I used to absolutely hate myself having to do interviews to create good content. I felt like, man, I want to be the guy that's being interviewed and stuff. And that's what I was striving for a very long time. But I'm finally coming to understand and realize that, that's not my path. That's not my path. I mean, the more I, like I said, get older and wiser and stuff, I'm realizing just how important it is to take care of your health and really, trying to take care of your health and energy is great. That's fine. But I think really, just it's far more important to feed your mind good things. It's far more important to feed your body good things. Basic stuff, and it all kind of ties back in with just reprogramming my mindset. Um, I am changing, my energy is changing, my outlook on life is totally changing recently, and coming to I'm starting to think a lot about my purpose and where I want to go and stuff like that. And, like I said, I mean, I know I'm kind of all over the place, but it all ties back in with me wanting to reprogram my mind. And, you know, I believe that I am meant to do this work. Otherwise, I wouldn't have stumbled upon it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have, even though I hated it for a while, I just felt like it's an obligation of mine. I think I was led to do this. And, you know, not trying to talk about God too much because I sound religious, but maybe I'm coming to realize like that's something that I also should start seeking, possibly not Christianity, not like religion, but God. Like maybe there is one singular God that's looking out for me, possibly, And I think possibly having a connection with God may help me reprogram my mind. Um, I mentioned earlier about feeding my mind right things, the right type of stuff. I mean, the stuff I say to myself, stuff others say to myself, so surrounding myself with the right type of people. All this type of stuff, I think, is very imperative. And like I said, I'm really, really determined to just totally do this and totally just change myself. As I said numerous times throughout this video, energy work is fun, energy work is great, energy work is just so, so cool. But I don't think I'm meant to be an energy guy. I think I'm just meant to be a guy who's sharing energy work to the world. I think that is my path, perhaps, and that is probably my calling. But my right now, in order for me to do that, I have to, it goes back to reprogramming my mind. And I think the things that I'm going to really look into is, like I said, really connecting with source, God, like I said. Maybe I'll dabble in with like religious stuff without becoming religious. That's something I'm considering a little bit because I've met some very powerful religious people that are just, and when I say powerful, like successful people, and I'm interested in like seeking their wisdom and you know, kind of taking the good, extracting the good qualities from these people so that I can become better. Um, I am considering, looking into hypnosis and NLP and things like that, and like, some manifesting work, manifesting teachers that are really good at reprogramming the mind. So that's something that I'm definitely considering dabbling with. All this type of stuff is for me personally, and I'll be definitely sharing my personal journey, but for the longest time, I know throughout this video I'm kind of all over the place, but throughout my life I've been wanting to find the right teacher that can teach me energy. But like I said, I think the right teacher will come. I still don't know who that's gonna be. There's so many people that I've connected with. It could be Master Sinteris. I really think it could be Master Sinteris in 2, 3 years. I could be his apprentice, and it could be this guy that I was just being taught from again. It could be somebody else. It could be another Nigong systems. There's a bunch of wonderful Nigong masters like Max Christensen and Daniel Mitchell. It could be these guys. I don't know. I really, really don't have a solid answer at this point, but and it just could be just God. I could just be connected with God and God is all I need, maybe. I don't know. But I really think that reprogramming my mind and having the right attitude and feeding the right kind of stuff will like naturally allow me to attract the right type of individual and system eventually. And that's just my main emphasis moving forward for me. I think for the next several months, several years, I don't know, maybe throughout my life, maybe this is a lifelong pursuit to try and like learn to have like the right attitude and not have a self-sabotaging behavior. So I know I was kind of like all over the place jumping from like different topics and stuff like that, but ultimately I wanted to summarize by saying that, I am really, really, truly determined to fix myself, fix my attitude, and fix just my outlook on life. My self-sabotaging behavior, as I said numerous times in this video, has became very apparent to me. And I really, for the last week, just thought about how bad I need to change. And, I think this is a perfect opportunity for me to change, especially now that I'm kind of free from doing energy work, which has kind of been a burden to me, I think, in a lot of ways. I felt a lot of pressure, I think, also as well, because I am a creator and I felt like I need to reach a certain level in order to, compete with a lot of people. But I'm Energy Apprentice Ken on Facebook. I am an apprentice. I'm a student. Like, I could suck at energy work, dude. I could just all I could do is just move side wheels or barely see it through my from my from my eyes with a blindfold on and stuff. I'm not here to compete with anybody, dude. I'm totally okay with being a nobody when it comes to abilities. I really am at that point. And I really think that me coming to this, letting go attitude of like not caring, I think will possibly allow me to advance. I don't know, because I heard numerous times from a lot of wise people that if you don't care about something, you're just gonna naturally get good at this stuff. And so I don't know, I feel like maybe all this stuff is happening synchronistically to the point where it's all in alignment. I don't know. I hope I'm making sense. I hope I didn't just jump from topic to topic way too much and um not making any sense. I think to understand like really what I wanted to say throughout this video, you have to kind of understand my journey and myself a little bit and like also have some level of understanding of metaphysics and like, unconscious mind and all this kind of stuff to truly comprehend what I'm trying to say. So hopefully if you're new to my channel or if you're new to my journey or if you're new to just this kind of stuff in general, like, you probably might be confused on the things I'm saying and maybe none of this stuff made sense to you, but um I'm gonna change. I'm determined to change, and I'm determined to become successful, not financial, well, financially, of course, but not just in terms of finances, but just live a successful life where I'm balanced, I'm calm, I'm, you know, living well and just being happy. So that's pretty much all I have to say in this video. I'm determined to change and I'm gonna do this. So I said it many times all throughout my life, but I'm finally looking into changing. So thank you for watching.